Hi, this is Tess McKenna and you're listening to Retrospectives with John Broughton on KC Radio 97.7 FM.
Around Gippsland, I believe.
Yep, yeah, I grew up in Gippsland. I was born and raised in Sale.
Wow.
Which was, stayed there for a little while and then got out of there as quickly as I possibly could.
Do you have an early musical memory from those days back in Sale as a young girl?
I remember that I was given a ukulele, seemed like every Christmas, but it was probably only a couple, but I do remember that. It was, the first one was a plastic one. I don't know how old I was, maybe 3 or something, 3 or 4. And then I think the next year it was a wooden one, and I had that probably for, I don't know, a while, because I remember my eldest brother breaking it over the head of my other older brother, and that was the end of that. So, and then I just expected every year I was going to get a ukulele, and I didn't. And so then I realised at a very early age that it doesn't work like that. So that was the end of the ukulele.
And if we were to go back in time and go rummaging through young Tess's record collection, what would we have found?
Probably the first records I really became aware of were sort of introduced to me by my brother, eldest brother again, making up for the ukulele loss, I think. Probably the first one I really became aware of was Times Are A-Changin', Bob Dylan, but at the same time it was The Seekers and Joan Baez. It was a lot of folk, pop, a lot of pop actually. I remember the Hollies, hearing them on the radio. We had a lot of radio going on, so it wasn't so much record collections. When I was old enough to buy my own records, that's when I really started putting out a lot of money. So I was probably, first one I probably bought was something like Donovan, after I'd obviously bought Dylan, and then just, that was my main thing, just get money, buy albums, get some music in there as quickly as possible. So then, you know, anything went, was whatever was around. I remember probably later on it was more like television and things turned a little bit sort of over that way, Patti Smith, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, those teenage years sort of changed a little bit, yeah.
So could you pinpoint perhaps a universal quality through all of the artists that were inspiring you? Was it an attention to lyrics, perhaps?
Yeah, one side it was lyrics. It was definitely lyrics. Then there was the singers. So there was, you know, Baez, but then it was like, you know, vocal performance. It was like listening to Hunky Dory for the first time was pretty incredible, because I think it was, you know, I was around it had only come out, you know, a few years before I found it, and it was anything that was great, I suppose, and it was folk, but it was also rock. You know, I really loved rock. I loved the guitars, like finally ending up getting into Zeppelin, you know, and stuff like that. So, but really it was, I don't know, I think it's pretty much represented in what I still do, which is lyric, and I think it's all there. I mean, you know, everything about the albums I've brought out. The only little swerve I took was I met some people in my late 20s who were sort of into country, and that was sort of not, people weren't into country then. I thought, oh, that's interesting. I've never really been into country. I'd never been exposed to it, not into it, but not exposed to it. And then I just fell in love with it. It was like this whole new area of songwriters, like Hank Williams, and then there was Patsy Cline singing and George Jones, and it was just this sort of amazing goldmine all of a sudden to get into that genre, and that's sort of that's what led to Make Me Wonder, really, because I got into it and it really revitalised my guitar playing, because I'd sort of put the guitar away and played bass most of, my early 20s in three-piece, and it had been sort of electric, pop, sort of alternative rock kind of stuff, and then just to fall in love with country. It was really Hank Williams, just amazing singing and songwriting, incredible songs. So that was like rediscovering Dylan. Like, it was like Dylan when I was younger, and then all of a sudden it was like Hank Williams, and it's like, wow. And then it was great, and then it really paid attention then to singing and Patsy Cline, and I started up a country band, so I had to really listen to, well, how do you sing these songs? And so that was a sort of a big change in that area.
So basically you went through like this big self-education process once you had this awakening to country music.
Yeah, it was like re-education, because I was already playing bass, I was already writing, I was already doing all that stuff, but I hadn't paid, I dropped out with not thinking it was hard work doing the bass and the singing in front of a rock and roll band, so I'd sort of left that on the, did it as well as I could, but it took me back to singing and songwriting, and it was a big change. It was a really big change, yeah.
So is there ever going to be another career path for you, or is always going to be headed towards music in some way?
I just always do music. That seems to be just what I do. I can't get away from it. I try and get away from it, but I can't really. I suppose it's when you concentrate on the industry, you get a bit sort of, I don't know what I'm doing, but if you just concentrate on what you're doing, why you do it, well, it's just to create music and write songs, and so you kind of, it doesn't have an end date. So I just sort of try and look at it like that these days. I don't really worry about anything else anymore. Just bring out, if that's the sole purpose of what I'm doing now, is to solely produce what I'm doing and have complete sort of confidence in just calling all the shots and being open to what's not working. And I love that process of it now, that actually the full production of it, and just sort of taking that last plunge into nowhere land where you could just end up completely making the wrong choice, but it doesn't matter as long as you are committed to it. No one can sort of argue with you, because no one's ever going to love everything, are they?
True.
Just, I got to live with them, so I got to like them.
Tell us about bands. There was the Right Furniture and Western District. Were they pretty much natural stepping stones towards the type of music you're making now?
Yeah, I think they were. I think they were sort of, when I look back, I think they were sort of perfect, really. Because before that I was just doing solo acoustic singer-songwriter stuff, and I was just aching to have a band, and sort of plug in and just have some other people and have a band to write for. And so having the Right Furniture for probably 6 years, and then straight into the Western District after that, they were really good. It was great to have a project or people there that I'm writing for this band, you've got to keep doing it. And I like the idea of writing for a band, because it's sort of under pressure and it's slightly competitive. And the biggest thing I learned in that was to have something completely finished. Because when you present it to the band, they can say, well, why don't you do, and it's like, oh no, I should have just waited, and so that happened early on, and I thought, no, from now on I'm just going to come with a complete, fully edited, ready to go song. And from that moment, it was like, right, that's how I'll do it. So that's been good. I just do it like that now.
I read that you distributed your first record out of the boot of your car yourself. Is that right?
Yeah, it is right.
How do you look back on that experience in terms of, I guess, a learning experience and getting a feel for the marketing side of music?
Yeah, look, that was a really good experience actually because I borrowed some money and I had to make sure I gave it back. So I kind of had to work out the whole project cost and it was a record. So yeah, it was working out where to get it pressed and handling all the recording money and getting it out there, and I had some help from my sister with the car thing, so it was good because I didn't have a car at that stage, so that was her boot. So that was great, and my main place that I went to really was Gaslight in the city. And they were great, and they just immediately said, yeah, sure, no worries. And then I thought, oh, great, okay, so then I went to all the other indies around, and that was like Missing Link, and yeah, in those days it was like about 4 places, wasn't it, that you sort of always went to. But they were really good, and they just did consignment, and it sold well in Gaslight. So I was over at Pellegrini's, and Max Cordaty came over and said, are you Tess McKenna? I went, yeah. And he said, oh, because Jeff wants you to do the front window. And I went, oh, okay. So that was, I was like, oh, okay, that must be the way things happen. So that was good. No, that was a really good experience, and of course I didn't make enough money to pay back, so then I had to relearn. But anyway, that's all just the way it goes, isn't it, with music.
You're a well-travelled performer. You take your music far and wide. Are you able to write while you're on the road, or is that something that has to wait till you're back at home base?
Not really. I just sort of write, just keep writing really, just whatever's going on at the time seems to sort of filter in and pop out somewhere, and the thing before that is sort of happening while you're doing it. So it's like living retrospectively, isn't it, really, when you're writing? So yeah, that just sort of just hums along really. Don't really have to sort of stop and make an effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So okay, now I will write. So yeah, and there's always little bits happening. So I don't think you stop writing. I don't know. I was for me, it's just sort of doing it all the time, really. I suppose you're paying attention to things, and whether it's something that you've, I don't know, things that pop out, or you're sort of just living it, I suppose, when you're writing.
Are you one of those writers that carries a notebook everywhere and jots down ideas as they come to you?
If something stands out, I will make an effort to go and, if a phrase pops out, I'll make an effort to go and make a conscious effort to remember that. So either I'll write it down or do something with it. Send myself a text or something now, which is great. All that sort of stuff is great. And also, just being able to use your mobile phone immediately for putting ideas down is really good. So yeah, whatever pops out. I always have my diary with me because that's just a really good source of reflection, really. Yeah.
Is there a strong editing process that you go through? How do you know when a song's ready to go and then it's finished? There's nothing more to be done to it. Some songs. Well, most of the lyrics that I do are just. I just know. Have done it for so long now. I know what needs fixing up. A lot of them sort of write themselves pretty quickly, and then I'll just put whatever is required in there for the melody and leave the first draft go, and then whatever stays will be what stays. Whatever needs to go will go. So it's a pretty ruthless process, and once I've looked at it completely, and that could be a first run, or it could be a few runs. They were all different. Then I just know. Well, that cannot be. I will be able to live with that for the rest of my life and sing that for the rest of my life. So therefore, that is a complete song. And if it shows itself as not worth going to the next, to even go to the next step, I won't sort of act upon something unless there's something there to act upon. So I don't sort of waste my time writing and then going, what a crap song. I'll only use my time to write something I know is potentially going to be something I'm going to want to sing and possibly record. So that process, so I'll write the melody and get everything done pretty quickly, and the chord structure, and have that all pretty much finished, and allow it to write itself naturally with, middle eights and all that sort of stuff, and ends, and they sort of all just happen. And then once I start playing it, then if something develops through it, then I'll attend to that as it happens, and then I'll refine it to the point where I can start singing it live, and then it doesn't usually change. Once it starts being played live, that's the only thing that would change would be if I threw in a longer, live thing, like a longer guitar solo for myself, because I'm so bad. Just having so much fun. Oh, let's just do that again. So that's just live though. But yeah, once something's finished, and then if it's going to be, then I'll perform it. And if I haven't had a chance to perform it, I'll just play it a lot, and then get it all scrubbed up for recording when, as I go along. So it's sort of all ready to go. Not much changes once it's sort of finished, really. If that makes sense, what I just said.
It makes perfect sense. Aside from your own songwriting, you're known to do the odd cover song or two. You got great reviews for your cover of Blondie's In the Flesh. Do you think the art of song interpretation as opposed to songwriter is a little bit underrated at times? Oh,
it's a really interesting area. I'm just totally into that at the moment. I've just started... I've been bringing in Simon and Garfunkel and Leonard Cohen, and I'm gathering all these covers because I'd really like to do a cover album, because it's just such a totally, it's another area. I agree with what you're saying. Yes, it is. Yeah. It's just an amazing area. I love Cat Power's interpretations of songs, of covers. They're just my favourites, like leaving out whole, choruses of satisfaction was just like, oh my God, that's great. I love what she does. I love that she turns it inside out. And yeah, I really like hearing people doing other people's stuff, It's great. It's great.
So what criteria do you look for in a song to make it one that you'd like to have a go at?
I'll think I like that song. I think that would be. I have some kind of feeling that that's going to fit in with me, and it's usually that I like it, and then years later I'll go, okay, well, I'll have a go at learning it, because I think the thing that quite often is I just want to leave it alone and not learn it, because once you've learnt a song, it's changed for you, and you're no longer just receiving it. You're actually analysing and getting inside it to learn it, and it changes your relationship with that song. And so it can be like, the bust up of a beautiful, love affair. Do you know what I mean? And it can be like, well, that's the end of that affair. That's the end of that. It's now I'm using it I'm interpreting it, and so if I don't continue to love it with the same passion, so I'm very careful about what I take on as a cover. So yeah, the Blondie one is just excellent song. But I'm just learning Chelsea Hotel at the moment, which is great.
Ah.
Great song to learn. Yeah. There's so many out there.
Simon and Garfunkel, I think you're doing I'm a Rock, aren't you?
Yeah, doing I'm a Rock, yeah. So that's that's really, just taking that somewhere different, really. Sort of learning it and then totally just turning it into something that as if you'd written it, I suppose. That's what basically gets down to.
Reading through some reviews of your work, the words underrated and underappreciated seem to come up quite a bit. Do you wonder sometimes just what do you have to do to avoid those kinds of tags to be fully appreciated?
I don't know what to say about that, really. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know. If somebody likes a song, or if you're having a good time on stage or recording, and you do what you do, and I don't know how to respond to that. That's I suppose that I understand it, but and if I looked at other people and or performers or songwriters, and I thought, oh my God, that person is so underrated, then it would be, that I want other people to see or hear what I'm hearing. But at the same time, I would be thinking, I'm so glad that I, get that person, or I get that music. So it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know what you have to do. If I knew,
you do it.
I wouldn't be.
Good point. Hey, you've played your fair share of festivals over the years. How do you rate them as a means of showcasing your music to a potential new audience?
Oh, they're just so much fun. I love festivals. I think they're great. I think they're a great opportunity just to, not only just play them, but get to see, your favourite people and just get around. But they're good. I think that festival goers are pretty much in the know, and they kind of know what they want to go and see, and stumbling across something is like an added bonus. So a few times it's happened where people come up and say, that was good, I don't know anything about you, that was great. So that's good. I suppose what I always think of is just, fun. I just want to have fun. So I can't, I think it's good. I don't know, I think that it probably helps to capitalise on things, I suppose, I don't know. Look, it's a big industry, and it's just great it's good to play in front of people who've never heard you, and then you get some great feedback, and that's all good. So that all happens at festivals, but it's a lot of fun though, really, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
You've looking through your records, it's an amazing roll call of musicians you've had play on your album, some of Australia's finest. What do you look for in musicians to make them someone you'd like to work with?
Well, I suppose usually if I don't know them, it would have to be that I already know their work. So, and then it would be getting to know them. But it's knowing their work, and if I don't know them, getting through somehow the person, they seem to come forward quite easily when they're asked, which is really amazing, always amazing to me. And it's liking their work. It's loving that they have I suppose they need to have some kind of an empathy, really, in the area that I'm looking for. So they have a huge amount of soul going on, and it's not just about their technical ability. It's like on the last album, it was like really wanted to play with people that I just really had hung around with quite a bit over the last couple of years, and really enjoyed their songwriting, and they were more songwriters, and they played instruments as well, and really just wanted to include them as a part of the project, because I really liked playing with them, just hanging around and playing our songs together. And then, of course, including Ashley. Well, I've played with Ashley for such a long time now, on and off, and I just couldn't imagine anyone else playing the drums except for Ashley on it, because he just sort of came up as the perfect person for the job. So it's there are. Now that you've said that, the roll call is going through my head, and there's some incredible players, Bill McDonald and Shane, incredible. God, there's so you have to like what they're doing and think that they may have an empathy for what you're actually trying to achieve and some idea of, well, it's also flexibility. Are they, is that person going to be able to move out of their comfort zone a little and maybe try something that you would require that maybe they don't usually do, like attempting something that's, a little bit different than what they normally do. But then having said that, it's everything that they've already contributed to other people's projects or what they've contributed, in live performance, and you just, right, that person would be great. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but the criteria is so huge with me, and it's really that the last one especially was there would be people I'd want to hang around with and, go to a launch with and maybe play with them later on, or if I feel like it, see what happens here. That's pretty loose, isn't it?
It's been, I guess, about a year or so now since the last album, The New Everything, came out. With that time behind you now and being able to look back on it, are there any changes you wish you could make to that record, or you think you've pretty well got the mix right?
No, I just, I'm really happy with that album. I'm completely happy with it, and, I stand behind every decision I made. I really like the sound of it. I think that Barry got such a great sound with his stuff, and it was, it wasn't an easy project, but, we took our time, and I sort of had a specific sound in mind, and Barry was, going to listen. We were going to listen to each other in the end and just keep going until that sound and that the whole thing was finished. So I'm really happy with it, completely happy with it, and a lot of people like it, and I haven't heard many bad things, but I like it, and I'm really, I think that it's comprehensively a good album. I think it holds together as a whole concept of start to finish kind of album, which is what I wanted to do, and and unfortunately, I think with those sort of albums is that that it goes through a lot of twists and turns, and you go into one little area and you go, oh, so you couldn't, if you come in on halfway through it, you would think that's the album, but well, it's not. It's a complete album. So I think it can throw people off. But that's the challenge of listening to a complete album, isn't it? So I don't know. Yeah, I'm completely happy with that one.
As you said, it was a long time in the making, but it doesn't sound like something that was really laboured over.
No, it wasn't laboured over, no. It was more the time factor of getting funds together and time, and, really, the amount of hours, probably, if you condense the whole thing together, it was probably 2 weeks, which is what Boom Bam took. But, just all the other parts of life that need to be attended to. Really. Life is like that, isn't it?
And performing live, anything on the horizon there?
Just sort of thinking about what's going to happen probably the second half of the year. I'm just sort of taking a bit of a break and thinking about what I want to do with, I think probably the Chaferos will continue, which is great. I love playing the three-piece. That's just fun every time. But maybe just thinking about some other projects, and in terms of playing live, maybe joining with some other people. I've just been a couple of things, ideas. So that might be fun to do that. And just start putting together stuff so it's not so long waiting for the next, already studying on the next album now, rather than waiting, till all the funds are there, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, just getting onto the new stuff, really, and probably just start, it's just really putting projects together at the moment. Yeah, live stuff probably in a couple of months' time or something, and spread out a bit, see what happens. Maybe I think what I'd like to do is start doing a bit more just solo playing and singing, just to get back to that for a little while, and it sort of opens up some more venues as well, and not have the three-piece all this year, just sort of stretch it out a bit and do some singer-songwriter sort of performances as well, just bring it right back to a really basic sort of level, just where I began. Something like that.
And there's a good batch of new songs already brewing?
Yep.
Fantastic.
See what happens.
We'll look forward to hearing those. Hey, Tess, thanks a lot for your time. Sorry about the technical glitch in the middle there, but...
no, that was funny, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'll be able to sticky tape it all back together and it'll sound like it never happened.
I'm sure you will. That's fine, John.
Thanks again for your time.
No worries.
Much appreciated. We'll see you soon.
Okay, John. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
See you. Bye.